everybody, Dylan here, and welcome back to those lovely Raw reviews. This is a past episode, which ironically I think was, almost a month ago to date. So with that accidentally working out, let's get into this review. Maybe even like a past Nightbird thing, even though that's past, maybe. Well, we'll see. Alright, the show starts off with like one of those crowds arriving to the arena shots they're doing now. It's kind of cool. And then it shows, by the way, this shows in Hershey, Pennsylvania. After that, it shows the women's tag team champions, which I can't remember if this was Bianca and Jade or if it's the current champions, but whatever. It shows them arriving, Braun Breaker and the JD, whether it's Judgement Day or JD himself, arriving separately. Earlier today. After that, they show a highlight of the women's tag team title match. Is that King and Queen of the Ring? So I think that answers my question, because if I'm not mistaken, I think that's where they lost the title. Yeah, no, they didn't. They lost the title at Clash of the Castle, so never mind. It shows the subsequent highlights of everything that happened that night and everything that happened with Dom and Liv last week, which I think, if I'm not mistaken, that would have been the, as I titled it, the Kiss Heard Round the World, so that was a crazy, eventful night. After that, Liv Morgan comes out and she brags about her recent accomplishments and kissing Dom last week. So cool. I'm glad I knew I'd take a month on updating this. Good to know. After that, it prompts Dom to come out. He tries to speak and gets booed like every 5 words like normally. Basically what he says is that she better quit doing what she's doing because mommy will come back and kill her. Liv says, maybe, but she's gonna kill him too. And damn, that describes this character so much right now. She tried to manipulate the truth, basically, and manipulate him into believing, and she literally, backed him into a corner, until Finn comes out and tells her to back off because he's a good bro. And she says, what if she doesn't want to go? I think Finn said she needs to go, something to that degree. So she said that. And then she leaves, but as she leaves, she plays with Dom's hair as she's leaving the ring. And Dom just stands there bewildered out of his mind as they go to ad break. 3.5 stars. I love where this story's going. Poor Dom. After that, we go backstage where JD is standing and talking sans Priest. That's right, Judgment Day this time. And Finn warns him that he's playing with fire, warns Dom on that. Priest then comes in to Shad and then asks him to explain what's going on. Finn says nothing needs explained, it's been taken care of, and Priest lets it go for now. He asks if Rhea thinks that it's been taken care of. He said that Dom said he's given her space. Priest says alright, and kind of lets it be. Then Priest says they're going to run back their matches from last week, basically. So I didn't rate that segment, but I think I'll rate it now 3.5 stars into the other one. After that, Ricochet's backstage, and Dragonov and him are kind of talking, chit-chatting about the Braun Breaker problem they have. It's tense for a second because they remind each other. I think Dragonov reminds Ricochet of his past, and Ricochet's like, I didn't need your help last week, or something like that. Until Ricochet says that they'll settle their beef after he destroys Braun. And I laughed so hard in the background after hearing that. Sorry, Ricochet, but the way you've been built, brother, you're not destroying Braun. After that, Dragonov wishes him luck, and they transition into the next match of Dragon Lee versus Finn Bálor with Judgment Day. Dragon Lee got a hype package too before it happened. The match ends with Finn winning due to Carlito's interference, and they do a lovely little beatdown on Dragon Lee until Braun Strowman and Rey Mysterio come out like WWE Universe segment style. Braun takes out everyone, including JD, who apparently ate shit off of a bump. He goes for the Braun Strowman train around the ring thing until they all retreat into the crowd, and that's how we end it. 3 stars. Sami Zayne is coming to the ring, and after the Judgment Day are talking to Carlito, and Priest tells Carlito to make a match tonight between Carlito and Braun. He kind of goats him into it. They leave the Judgment Day clubhouse, and Carlito says, oh, that's not cool, and then it goes womp womp. Then R-Truth comes into frame after that and reminisces about, they're not in the clubhouse, they're just in the hallway, sorry. But he reminisces about being in the Judgment Day and said, it's the best. Hold on. Yeah, it says it's the best day of his life. And then Miz comes into frame and says, really? And they have a thing where Truth tells him to quit obsessing over the Judgment Day. And that's how it ends. 3 stars, womp womp comedy. I love that type of comedy, though. Sami Zayn comes out finally, and they recapped last week, whatever happened then. I watched my review. And then Sami talks after a crazy crowd for him, saying that, Chad, this is about him. And hold on, what did I write? After a crazy crowd saying that, Chad, this is about him, and Chad, not about AA, Gunther, or anybody else. Oh, okay, he was saying that this is about Chad Gable, and not Gunther, not AA, not anybody else. Then he calls out Gable for a one-on-one, and immediately, as soon as he does, AA's music hits to where, by the way, AA is Alpha Academy, in case you didn't. Yeah, anyway. Their music hits where everybody who's not Chad Gable comes out, and Maxine says that Chad told them that, she has like a piece of paper in her hand, but Chad told him that Sami doesn't deserve his time tonight, and they have to redeem themselves by delivering this message, well, quite literally, because it's a piece of paper. Sami says they don't have to do this. The letter runs down everybody, I think, like in the arena, and Sami Zayn and whatnot, and it says that Gable wants a title match, basically. Sami agrees to it, but at Cash of the Class, I do this every time that pay-per-view, Cash at the Castle, and tries to talk to the 3 of them about Chad running them down again. This crowd was kind of hyping up Otis during the whole time. I mean, golly, the pop that he gets later on when he does break up, so crazy. Unfortunately, this was a setup, though, by Gable, because he beats down Sami afterwards while Otis looks away. Gable demands Otis to clothesline Sami as he holds him up, and Otis is torn for a second. He's like, should I, don't I, blah, blah, blah. And he looks away into the corner, and Gable smacks him. That made Tozawa pull up to him for a second. He's like, hey, what are you doing? And then Gable picks on him and threatens to punch him. Then Maxine saves Tozawa. He threatens to beat her up unless she gets on her knees and begs, which she does. And Gable kicks her out of the ring. He chews her down until Otis stands up. Chews her down on the apron until Otis stands up for them. And I think this was the loudest pop up until the point of him actually like leaving Chad Gable, until they left Chad Gable. This is probably the biggest pop I've heard in a while. As he's standing up to him, Sami starts to beat up Gable, and Otis turns around to like check on his friends on the apron, make sure they're all good. And then Gable gets the advantage and shoves Sami right into Otis, bumping his friends. Gable manipulates him to say that Sami did this willingly, like, ooh, Sami's a bad guy. Look what he just did to you. You're trying to stand up for him. You know, like toxic shit like that. That it makes Otis do a World's Strongest Slam to Sami. Otis ends up leaving the ring carrying both of his friends on his shoulder as Gable poses in the middle with the title. Pierce watches this all happen on TV as Braun Breaker comes into the office and threatens Sami. So for that little segment, I'm going to give it 4, maybe even 5 stars. No, let's say 4 stars. Let's say 4 stars, honestly. Yeah, we'll go 4 stars. So yeah, Braun Breaker's like pissed off, threatening Sami, and he runs into the office. He came in to congratulate Mr. Pierce on finally giving him a match. They have a talk, like a back and forth snarky talk for a second, where Breaker says that everyone's at risk now because of Pierce not giving him Sami Zayn. Then they have a match between Ricochet and Breaker. During the match, AA is backstage where Gable praises them all for pretending like they were actually going to leave him. And when he gets to Otis, he praises him, but Otis remains kind of like stone-faced and pissed off the whole time. Anyways, the match between Ricochet and Breaker, rerunning that one, goes how you think it will. Breaker hits a top rope Frankensteiner and a spear for the win. After the match, he tries to crush him with the steel steps. I think like crush his head between, but officials come out to stop him. Then Dragonov comes out and tries to save him. And this was a really cool moment because he tried to throw the steps at Dragonov, and somehow Dragonov ends up ducking them and then punching Breaker into the crowd to separate them. 3.5 stars. This was a great way to build Braun Breaker and Dragonov to show off how much of a badass he is. I like it. Give it more time, though. We then, after that, see the LWO talking, and Ray announces that he's going after Priest one-on-one later on tonight. After an ad break, we have Braun versus Carlito, where the JD interferes super early in the match, but Braun Strowman wins anyway, so it doesn't even matter. Afterwards, the Judgment Day tries to beat him down, but to no prevail until Dom goes after his bad leg. Dom tries to run away up the ramp afterwards, and that gets Strowman to kind of like chase after him. Then Liv gets in between them. That was enough of a distraction for Braun to slowly get picked apart with a chair in the ring eventually. The remainder of Judgment Day that's in the ring poses with the chair, I think, while Dom and Liv are kind of flirting, and then Finn steps in the middle of them and says, like, pulls his boy out from that. 3.5 stars. Why couldn't I get a Pillmanizer for Braun Strowman? Anyway, they show Bianca and Jade arriving earlier today, which confirms they still have the titles at this point in my canon and in reality. After the ad break, they come out, and then they call out Team Shayna to the ring. After some back and forth, we get an official title match between the four of them. A tag team title match, that is. It ends with an interruption from the Unholy Union, and they beat down the champs until... I think that's the name of Fire and Desire. It's not Fire and Desire. That's fucking Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. Wow, 2017 Dylan called, hey. What is their name? I'm going to call them the Unholy Union because that's what commentary called them. But Alba Fire and... God, I'll remember the new people eventually. I'm just really old. But those two. They beat down the champs, and everybody that's a bad gal stands tall. 3.5 stars. After that, Damian Priest is interviewed about his match later with Ray. He talks up Ray and how much of a legend he is and how great he is. And says after tonight he's done with Dom's dad. That's a tongue twister. The interviewer brings up Liv, and he tries to talk about it, but then Drew comes in and cut him off. They start to talk about what's happening in the next 2 weeks at Clash of the Castle, and Drew says it's personal now. I think they, I don't know what happened. A line was crossed that can never come back from. Ooh, wrestling. After that, we get, in my opinion, one of the pinnacle entrances of Jey Uso coming out with the fireflies and doing the hand thing, but I don't think he can have those anymore. Uncle Howdy might not approve of that. He talks with the crowd, yeet, about his big plans for this summer, yeet. He talks about the Bloodline Civil War last year, yeet, and how he wanted to thank everybody for testing him and staying with him last year during that time, yeet. He then says that his plans for this summer is to win Money in the Bank. Yeet. Eventually he calls that the yeet in the bank. No yeet. And honestly, I would love for him to win. That would be pretty cool. That would add a layer into this where eventually in the fall we have like Roman comes back and finally confronts Solo. And, you know, shit hits the fan, and we're trying to get Jey involved in the Bloodline Civil War 2.0. But, like, Jay's like, hey, I got this Money in the Bank. I'm trying to go after the main guy on my show. You know, that sort of thing. That'd be a cool little dimple in that storyline. A wrinkle, whatever you want to call it. Anyways, after that, we go backstage, and Lyra Valkyria was asked about how Becky felt last week because she was her mentor, and she hypes up Becky saying that she's a real winner, and that's nothing that Liv knows about. Give it time, and Becky will win her title back. Then she says that her next goal is Money in the Bank. Then Io Sky comes out and crazily like beats her down and throws stuff around. The tag team that I am calling the Unholy Trinity, I don't know what they are actually called, was asked why they attacked the champions, to which they said that they want a title shot at Clash at the Castle. That's why. it was like a very kind of generic promo, but also this is like their first introduction promo, so I'm gonna give it 3.5 stars just because of their talent. After that, we get Rey versus Damian Priest, which I think closes off this show. I'm not looking ahead in my notes. But anyway, that match lasted about an hour, and it ends with Priest hitting Rey with a south side of heaven. I'm just kidding, south of heaven, from the top rope after a bunch of distractions from everybody in the Judgment Day and the LWO and what have you. After the win, Drew comes out and hits Priest from behind and gives him a Future Shock DDT and a Claymore kick. Then after that, Finn comes in and takes a clothesline from Drew. As Drew clears out the ring of the rest of the Judgment Day, Carlito comes in. The rest of the Judgment Day and Carlito, he goes out to strip the announce table down to put Priest through it and talks down Michael Cole for a second. That was enough of a distraction for Priest to chokeslam Drew through the table that he cleared off, because if you introduce a table in WWE, you will be put through the table. And then he poses with his title to end the show. 3.5 stars. Great match, great show, great performance. Hi, so I'm going to put this in somewhere before I actually said this. I don't know where I'm going to put it in, but here's the rundown of the show, including the stuff that I didn't get to see. We had Ludwig Kaiser against Sheamus, Finn Bálor against Dragon Lee, which, by the way, the first names so far have won. Braun Breaker defeated Ricochet. Kiana James defeated Natalya. Braun Strowman defeated Carlito. Team Women's Tag Team Champions defeated Team Shayna by DQ. The Authors of Pain. Oh, I didn't even see that. The Final Testament defeated the New Day. And Damian Priest defeated Rey. So yeah, there's a couple of matches in there I didn't get to review. Sorry about that. Hulu did me wrong. Did me dirty. Overall, I'll rate this show 4 stars because WWE's on fire. That's the end of this review. No, I'm kidding. Blee blue blue blop. Sorry, that was my my introductory to the Nightbird segment because it's Nightbird time. Ooh. Okay, yeah. I know it's like the 1st of July right now, and Nightbird's already a thing on the roster, and the Wyatt Six and what have you are a thing. But I figured it'd be cool to, like, for historical sake, to still review the old ones, maybe, you know? Before I get into any of these, though, friendly reminder, none of these QR codes are accessible. So if you want to see any of these, there are a bunch of channels that have archived the QR codes and have broken them down, kind of like what I'm doing. Anyway, alright, let's get into the Nightbird. There was a QR code scene during Kaiser versus Sheamus, which opened the show. It had a VH-style text on it that said, prepare, then the, like, Pluto symbol, which I think now is associated with the Wyatt Six, if we go back to look at any of these. So this specific QR code is not related to Uncle Howdy, because for at least in my narrative of it, because I think what is Uncle Howdy is anything with the Nightbird on it. Alright, anyway, enough fan theory. The logo was covered with a QR code. When you scanned it, which you can't scan it anymore, it brought you to a web page with different links. So I'm going to bring up these links one by one real quick. Not one by one, but whenever I bring up the ones that people actually clicked on, I'm going to mention what they say on them and then go to the next one. So let's start off with the first one. It says mandates.mp4. That one takes you to a video in the same like cryptic VHS style the rest have been basically, but this one a little bit longer than normal, I think. The text said, prepare for a massacre, and it comes in like a little like 90s like I don't know how else to describe that, but I hope you understood that. It's like a little 90s style intro. And then after that, text said, the day of destruction is imminent. Then in red it said, the words of the red can guide you to safety if you are willing to listen. And then it starts to do these like PowerPoint ones where like there's one big title and there's the thing below it. So this one was like, acceptance, your fate lies in your hands. You can save yourself. His arms are wide open. Open your eyes. You are consuming lies. This will be your trajectory until you refuse to accept it. Admit your transgressions. The only way to correct a problem is to acknowledge its existence. Repent and be made whole. Run and hide on the day of reckoning. Fire will fall on the just and unjust alike. You must remove yourself to avoid extinction. Statues will crumble. False idols will be toppled. Your presence will be a sign of disbelief, a declaration of blasphemy, and then like static starts to happen and it gets like more intense as the words go on. You hold the key to your own salvation. And then each one of these is their own little tab. Then what to do during the reckoning. In the unfortunate event you have not taken the proper steps to avoid the massacre, follow these instructions. ... Next tab. Do not beg for mercy. You are given ample time to save yourself and refused. Calamity is now inevitable. Accept your fate. For you may be reborn with a newfound wisdom. Nothing is ever final. Do not fight. You chose this. You forced our hand. And then it starts like glitching into cryptic imagery and a video of said imagery. And then it goes to like the blue screen with text saying, do you hear? The shackles have fallen. We have been set free. And it's like 3 separate tabs. Those appear. Then it gets covered up by the word repeated a bunch of times. The statement, we have been set free, repeated a bunch of times. It's in red this time. And then the blue screen comes back and it says, your prayer has fallen on deaf ears. The day of reckoning is at hand. Then more cryptic video footage shows one of them. The person kind of looks like Bray, which this leans into this theory, which is kind of messed up, that Uncle Howdy isn't Bo Dallas. It's kind of like Bray's reincarnation, if you will, which I don't think they'll ever confirm or deny that, or if it's an actual thing, confirm it. But just an interesting little pinpoint to put into the Uncle Howdy character now. There was also a shot of the Firefly Funhouse door, which makes sense after you know that everybody's representing a puppet now and they all came alive, what have you. And after that, the text, I hope you found your freedom. It's not too late to save yourself, pops up. And then eject pops up and it stops that video. That one was a little long. So the next one is shatter.jpg, or JPG technically. It takes you to an image of a red circle with a line through it. It's like drawn on a piece of paper. And it says around it in like little broken down paragraphs, it says, when the circle was broken, they were let loose. No direction. Lost and confused. It cut off this part. It said somebody's name. Found them. They're safe now. They're free. And then the next part of the line got cut off from the cropping, which I think is intentional. The next hyperlink is 71enuj.html. Nothing came from that one. I don't think there was a hyperlink for it, but that's interesting because the whole enuj blah 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 thing kept on appearing. Actually, no, that's a new one, I think. I don't know. We'll come back to that one day, maybe, or maybe it's just words. And then there's another one that says archive.html. I don't think that took you to anything again. And then there's one that says monitus.wave, or WAV. It depends on how technical you are. It takes you to an audio file that's in reverse. When you flip it, it's a voice that sounds like Uncle Howdy's like robotic voice, like that, saying, the cave will be no more. The end of all things. A massacre is coming. Run and hide. And he says it 3 times. The next one is recapacity lash. Hold on. recapitylation.html and inturr interruption.jpg. I don't think anything came from those either. At the very top of the page was /secret/ which wasn't a hyperlink on that Monday, but come Friday, it became a hyperlink to something else. There was also an ad block in the corner, and if you clicked on it, it'd give you a fun little graphic of Rambling Rabbit from like the breakfast spread they had, that graphic, with like the colors like blue, purple, red, just a bunch of random colors in the background with fireworks flashing. It's like pixelated fireworks. And then text below saying, available at fine retailers near you. At the bottom of the page, there's hidden text, which was V, capital XT, 3G, capital PEF, 8ZO, which is the URL of a YouTube video on how to bring puppets to life. QR code would also take you to an image of Raw Talk host. It was kind of glitched out, and it had the text that said, see you tonight on it. Raw Talk started with the glitched intro they've been using for Uncle Howdy, and at the end it said, it's like different slides each time, by the way. It says, I have shown you signs and wonders you spit. Hold on. I have shown you signs and wonders you spit in my face. One last chance, an opportunity to repent. It is inevitable, but my patience runs thin. What have we become? And then it glitches on the screen, like for each one. By the way, the URL code for this QR was www.wwe.com/flesh of UNIFYEUR pound a hashtag £, which is an anagram for the Firefly Funhouse. The more you know. Boo boo blah blah. All right, we're back to the outro part. Thanks for watching, everybody. I appreciate you all. Tomorrow we'll be back up with the normal, like, tonight's Raw review. For real this time. Last time was a money issue, but that's okay. I fixed out my personal issues. That's not your worries. That's my worries. Anyway, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye!